Children, today we are going to start a new chapter. That is chapter number 8, Body Movements. In this chapter, we are going to learn about locomotion, importance of locomotion, skeletal system and its parts, joints and their types, muscular system and locomotion in different animals. Now, what is locomotion? The movement or the ability to move from one place to another is known as locomotion. Let's move on to the next topic, human skeletal system. It comprises of skull, backbone, ribcage, limb bones and girdles, and some of them we have already learned in class 5th. Let's learn about the human skeletal system. Let's start with the skull. The two parts of the skull, that is cranium and the lower jaw, in here the cranium is the bony part and it is immovable, and the lower jaw is a part which is movable. Next is spine. The spine is composed of several small bony structures. They are known as vertebrae, and inside the vertebrae there are cartilage. Due to the presence of cartilage, the spine is flexible. Next is rib cage. There are 12 ribs on each side of the chest. An interesting fact is 8th, 9th and 10th pairs are known as false ribs because they do not join the sternum directly but are connected to the 7th rib by cartilage. The 11th and 12th pair are known as false ribs. Our arms and legs are known as our limbs. In class 5th, you have already learned several parts of it. In the class, we are going to discuss about them in details. The bone that is present in our shoulder is known as the shoulder girdle. It is attached to the collarbone and it is also attached to the humerus of our arms. Next is hip girdle, or we can also call it pelvic girdle. It is a butterfly-shaped bone which is attached with the backbone. Next is joints. The place where two or more bones join, they are known as joints. Ends of bones forming a joint is lined with a layer of tough and elastic tissue that is known as cartilage. It helps to reduce the friction between the bones during the movement. The cartilage is also present in other parts of our body, like the upper part of the ear and the front part of the nose are made up of cartilage. Now look at this skull. Can you see there are some joints on the skull? These joints are fixed. You cannot move the bones of the skull. That's why they are known as fixed joint. There are some joints which we can move slightly. Example of this kind of joint is the joint of vertebrae. Look closely. There are pads of cartilage present in between the vertebrae. That's why we can be able to move them slightly. There are some joints which are movable. An example of such joints are ball and socket joint. Ball and socket joint is present in between the thigh bone and the hip bone. In this type of joint, the rounded end of one bone fits into the cavity or the hollow space of the other bone. And due to this reason, this kind of joint allows movement in all directions. Next is the hinge joint. Open and close a door few times and observe the hinges of the door carefully. It is exactly the same. That means in this type of joint, movement is allowed only in one direction. For example, the movement of the elbow. Elbows can be moved only in one direction. Next is pivot joint. The joint where our neck joins the head is known as the pivot joint. This joint will allow us to bend our head forward and backward and also turn the head to our right or left. Now let us understand the gait of animals. Gait is the pattern of movement of the limbs of animals, including humans, during locomotion over a solid substrate or solid surface. Now look at here. The earthworm and the snail both are moving. Earthworm can move with ease on a hard and slippery surface. Earthworm has several muscles on their body, and due to the contraction and expansion of those muscles, earthworm can move on a surface. On their body, they have tiny structures. They are known as tiny bristles. They are hair-like structure projecting out. The bristles are connected with the muscles. The bristles help to get a good grip on the ground, and hence the earthworm can move easily on the soil. Earthworm body will secrete a slimy substance which will help them to move. Look at here. They have two types of muscle, longitudinal muscle and circular muscle, which will help them to move. Earthworms eat their way through the soil. Earthworms throw away undigested food, which improves the quality of the soil. That's why we call them the farmer's friend. The excretory product will enrich the quality of the soil. Let us learn about the structure of the snail's body and how they move on a surface. The shell is actually the outer skeleton of a snail and needs to be pulled along. The shell is made up of calcium carbonate. It is very hard structure, and that is why it can protect the soft and delicate body of the snail. The hard shell also protects the soft delicate body of the snail, and it helps them to hide itself. Look at this picture. You can be able to see a muscular foot. The thick structure that you can see is its foot. It is made of strong muscles, and its foot has slimes on it, which will also protect the snails from any kind of injuries. Now look at here. Let's learn about the movement in cockroaches. Cockroaches can walk, climb and fly as well. The cockroaches have 3 pairs of legs, and they also have 2 pairs of wings. The muscles of cockroach help it in walking and flying. There are leg muscles as well as breast muscles. On the leg of the cockroaches, you can be able to find the spine-like structure. Now, what about the birds? As we all know, birds can fly in the air and walk on the ground. In case of birds, the bony part of the forelimbs are modified as wings, and their bones are light and hollow. Their breastbone help to flutter the wings, and there are also muscles which will help them to fly. Bird's tail help to direct the flight. There are also many structures which are absent from their body, such as absence of urinary bladder. Birds have strong shoulder bones which will help them to fly. The race is still going on. Let us see who will win the race at the end. Next is gait of snakes. Snake's entire body is covered with scales. Snakes have a long backbone and many interconnected muscles. Look at this picture. Snakes have difficulty in moving on very smooth surfaces. Snakes cannot move in a straight line. They move in a zigzag manner. So let us see who is going to win the race. Of course, the bird is going to win the race. Next is gait of fish. As we all know, fish have a streamlined body. That means a straight body. It has head, middle portion and a tail. The fin of the fish will act like a paddle, and the shape of their body also help them to swim in the water easily. They have tail fin and they have back fin, which will help them to swim in the water. The skeleton of the fish is covered with strong muscles. During swimming, Muscles make the front part of the body curve to one side and the tail part swings towards the opposite side. The fish forms a curve as shown in the picture. Then quickly the body and the tail curve to the opposite side. This makes a jerk and pushes the body forward. A series of such jerks make the fish swim ahead. This is helped by the fins of the tail. That is all from this chapter. Children, do watch this video carefully and read the chapter thoroughly. Thank you.